Hello, everyone. Welcome to the book summary of The One Thing. Imagine this, you wake up in the morning with a long to do list, emails to answer, meetings to attend, errands to run, and maybe even big dreams you want to chase. But by the end of the day, you feel drained, scattered, and disappointed. Because even after being busy all day, the most important things still remains undone. The author, a successful entrepreneur and real estate mogul, noticed this same struggle in his own life. He realized that people fail not because they lack ambition, but because they try to do too many things at once. In his best selling book, The One Thing, co authored with J. Papa, Killer shares a powerful truth. Extraordinary results come from focusing on fewer things, not more. The heart of this book is one simple but life changing question: what's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? This question may sound small, but it has the power to reshape your career, your finances, your relationship, even your health. Instead of chasing every opportunity, Keller teaches us to identify the one thing that truly matters in each area of life and give it our full focus. Throughout the book, you will learn why multitasking is a lie that steals your productivity, how willpower is not always available when you need it, and how to work with that reality. The importance of time blocking, protecting your day for deep focused work, and how small, consistent actions like falling dominoes can knock down massive goals over time. This is not just another productivity book, it's a guide to living with clarity and purpose. By the end, you will see that success is not about doing everything, it's about doing the right thing. So let's dive deep into the one thing and discover how extraordinary results are built one focus step at a time. Let's start with the part one: the lies that mislead and derail us. Before we can focus on what truly matters, author says we first need to recognize the traps, the lies we have been told about success. These lies sound reasonable. They are repeated so often that most of us believe them without question. But in reality, they pull us off track, waste our energy, and keeps us from extraordinary results. One of the first lie is the belief that everything matters equally. Think about your daily to-do list. It's usually long, filled with things that feel urgent. But author explains that not everything is important. In fact, only a few things truly drive results. The mistake is treating all tasks as if they are the same. When you focus on everything, you end up achieving nothing. The truth is that success comes from focusing on the vital few, not the trivial many. The second lie is multitasking. We often praise people who can juggle many things at once. But science proves that multitasking doesn't make us more productive, it makes us more distracted. Every time you switch between tasks, your brain pays a heavy price. You lose time, energy, and focus. Multitasking gives the illusion of progress, but in reality, it slows us down. Extraordinary results come from doing one thing at a time with complete focus. Another lie we believe is that success requires an extremely disciplined life. We imagine that the most successful people have unbreakable self control all day, every day. But author reveals the truth. Nobody lives with perfect discipline. What they actually do is use discipline long enough to build habits. Once the right habit is in place, it requires little effort to maintain. Discipline is not about grinding forever, it's about creating habits that carry you forward. Closely tied to this is another myth that willpower is always available when we need it. In reality, willpower is like a battery. It runs out as the day goes on. That's why you make better decision in the morning and worse one at night. If you want to achieve your one thing, you need to use your strongest hours when your willpower is fresh to tackle your most important work. We, are, we were already told to live a balanced life, but author argues that balance is a myth. Extraordinary success demands focus, and focus means going out of balance in the right way. When you are building something great, you pour yourself into it, even if it means neglecting smaller things for a while. The goal is not perfect balance, it's counterbalance. You swing deeply into what matters most, then shift back when it's time. And finally, there's the belief that big is bad. Many people fear big goals. They think they are unrealistic or risky. But the truth is, thinking small guarantees small results. Big thinking pushes you to find better answers and fuels motivation. When you aim higher, you achieve more. Big is not bad, big is essential. Author's message in this section is clear. This lies, everything matters equally. Multitasking, endless discipline, unlimited willpower, perfect balance, and the fear of thinking big are illusions. They hold us back, and once we see through them, we are free to focus on the truth. Now let's focus on the part 2. Part 2, the truth that leads us to success. After exposing the lies that keeps us trapped, author moves on to the truths, the principle that actually create extraordinary success. And the first truth is that success is not about doing everything at once. Success is sequential, not simultaneous. Imagine lining up dominoes. You don't try to push them all over together. You knock down the first one, and that first action starts a chain reaction that can topple even the biggest goals. That is the power of focus, doing the right thing at the right time. At the center of this book lies a simple question, one that Keller calls the focusing question. It asks, what's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? This question may sound small, but it carries enormous weight. When you ask if you cut through noise and distraction, you stop reacting to what feels urgent and start acting on what is truly important. Think about how this works in real life. If you are at work, instead of asking, what do I have to finish today? You ask, what's the one thing I can do to hit my target? If you want to improve your health, you don't overwhelm yourself with 10 changes at once. You ask, what's the one thing I can do right now to feel stronger? The question is powerful question because it forces clarity. And when you live with clarity, you start making better decisions every single day. But asking the question isn't enough. You need to make it a habit. When you wake up and ask yourself what the one thing is, when you play your day around that one thing, when you practice it again and again, it becomes natural. It rewires the way you think. Suddenly, you stop asking, what should I do? And you start asking, what must I do? The shift is where success begins. And to protect that one thing, you must give it time. Uninterrupted sacred time. Author calls this as a time blocking. He argues that the most successful people don't necessarily work longer than everyone else. They simply guard their best hours and devote them to what matters most. It's like making an appointment with your future. You set aside hours where nothing else is allowed to intrude. No emails, no phone calls, no random tasks. Just you and you, your most important work. Those hours repeated day after day become the foundation of extraordinary results. Keller also speaks about commitment. Extraordinary results don't come to those who dabble. They come to those who commit to mastery, who keep learning, practicing, and improving their craft. They come to those who refuse to settle for what's natural or easy, but instead push themselves to find better ways, smarter models, and proven systems. And above all, they come to those who take accountability. Not blaming others, not making excuses, but owning their results fully. When you put all these truths together, the picture becomes clear. Success is not complicated, it's about clarity, focus, and persistence. It's about asking the right question, protecting time for the right work, and committing to mastery. When you live by these truths, you stop being busy and start being effective. You stop chasing everything and start building a life that truly matters. Now let's move onwards to the part 3. Part 3, Extraordinary Results. Unlocking the possibilities within you. Once we understand that lies that hold us back and the truths that set us free, author takes us to the final step. How to actually live a life of extraordinary results. This is where all the ideas come together. Keller reminds us that success is not about being busy, it is about being purposeful. The people who achieve greatness don't just drift through life, they wake up each morning with clarity. They know exactly what matters most and they act on it. Extraordinary results are built on one choice at a time, one day at a time, by focusing on the single action that truly matters. The key is to think big, but act small. Imagine lining up a row of dominoes. The first one is tiny, barely the size of your finger. But as each one falls, it has the power to knock over a domino 50% larger than itself. If you keep this chain going, by the 23rd domino, you could knock over something taller than the Eiffel Tower. Success works the same way. Big achievements are not the results of a giant leap. They come from small, focused steps that build momentum over time. To make this possible, you must give your one thing a special place in your life. Author calls this time blocking. And he treats it like an unbreakable appointment with your future. You don't leave it to chance. You protect those precious hours each day as if nothing else exists. Because in those hours, you are building your dreams. Distraction will try to steal them, emails, calls, and other people's demands. But if you let them, your one thing slips away. Protecting your time is protecting your success. And when it comes to setting goals, author urges us to go big. Most people fear big goals, thinking they are unrealistic. But the truth is, big goals stretch us. They force us to find better answers and create better habits. If you only aim for what feels comfortable, you will only achieve ordinary results. But when you give yourself permission to dream big and then narrow that dream down to the one thing you must do right now, you open the door to extraordinary results. He also talks about the importance of purpose. Your one thing is not just about work to money. It's about meaning. When you connect your daily actions to a larger purpose, something that truly matters to you, your life gains power and direction. Purpose fuels perseverance. It gives you strength to push through obstacles because you are no longer just working, you are living your mission. Finally, the Keller reminds us that this journey is not about perfection, it's about progress. Every day, ask yourself the focusing question: what's the one thing I can do today such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? Some days you will succeed, some days you will stumble. But if you keep returning to the question over and over, your life will start to change. Extraordinary results don't happen overnight. They are built with focus, discipline, and persistence. And when you look back years from now, you will realize it was never about doing more. It was always about doing less, the right less. It was always about finding your one thing and giving it everything you have got. Now let's jump on to the conclusion. As we reach the end of the one thing, Gary Keller leaves us with a message that is simple yet life changing. Success is not about doing more, it is about doing less, the right less. Every day we are faced with choices, distraction, and endless demands on our time. But the people who achieve extraordinary results are those who step back, ask the focusing question, and commit to their one thing. Think about your own life for a moment. What would change if you identified the one thing, the one project, the one goal that mattered more than anything else and gave it your full attention? Maybe it's a business you have been dreaming about, a skill you want to master, your health or your relationship. Whatever it is, the path to extraordinary results begins the same way with focus. Remember the effect. One small action done with intention can set off a chain reaction that leads to massive results. Over time, those results build a life of purpose, achievement, and meaning. All you have to do is keep coming back to the question: what's the one thing I can do today such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? If you make this habit, if you protect time for your one thing, if you live with clarity and purpose, you will find that extraordinary results are not reserved for lucky few. They are available to anyone willing to focus, to persist, and to dream big. And that includes you. So, this is all about The One Thing by Gary Keller.